Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott. Today we're going to return to Robert B. Stone, and this time we're going to read from his amazing book, Celestial 911, Call with Your Right Brain for Answers. There's an amazing first chapter. The entire book is amazing, but the first chapter will give you an idea what this book is about, similar to Miracle Metaphysics Power and the Magic of Psychotronic Power. All of them are very similar, but they all have their own variety to it. This one's called How to Contact the Good Fairy, Waiting to Grant Your Unlimited Wishes. Robert B. Stone was an amazing writer and researcher who worked with Jose Silva in developing the Silva mind control method, and was an incredible coach and advocate, scientist, and did so much to help people learn the process of creating your reality. How to Contact the Good Fairy, Waiting to Grant Your Unlimited Wishes. You have been attracted to these pages because you are ready to benefit from them. This works as surely as the law of gravity. The law of gravity is a physical law. The law of attraction is a metaphysical law. You can see the law of gravity work every time. But with a metaphysical law like the law of attraction, now you see it. Now you don't. It is the don't part that drives scientists crazy. So they stick with the physical laws and pay no attention to laws beyond the physical. On the other hand, you are now being exposed to the non-physical laws that symbolically involve good fairies, angels, genies, and wizards, because you have lived your life in a certain way. Let's look at a couple of possible ways that you make yourself eligible for this help that comes from the other side of our physical world. In The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy was in a position where she needed help, and she needed it now. She expressed that need. The Good Witch quickly appeared and filled Dorothy's need. What made Dorothy eligible? Obviously, her innocence. She was guileless. She had no motives behind her motives. In Cinderella, the good fairy appeared and enabled Cinderella to thwart her evil sisters. That's because Cinderella was obviously good. The fairy tale brings out her goodness right from the start. You have some positive quality that makes you deserving of similar help. This means that you have the equivalent of a good fairy waiting to grant your wishes. Not 1, or 3, or 10, but unlimited wishes. In this chapter, you will contact this power and begin the flow of good luck that appears to be. Although fairy tale language helps to explain help from the invisible realm, the help itself is no fairy tale. The very energy of creation itself, using you and me as co-creators. It enables you to get as much money as you need, increase your attractiveness to other people, reap a crop of good luck every day, revitalize your health, and even postpone aging. Protect yourself from those who are out to get you. Climb the ladder to social, business, or political success. Buy and sell at the right time. Affect events at a distance. The genie gave Aladdin 3 wishes. He did not limit the kind of wishes Aladdin would choose. Nor are any limits imposed on you as you lock into the limitless creative realm and activate its colossal power. The scientific nature of this fairy tale approach. The use of fairy tale language, references to fantasy and symbolism, and writing in parables may give some readers the idea that this author is flaky. Let us put such suspicions to rest. I have had over 75 books published in the fields of self-help and using more of the mind. There are millions of copies in print in 15 languages. I am a graduate of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, a member of Mensa, top 2% IQ in the world, and have been elected to the New York Academy of Sciences. It is difficult for me to recall that I was not always as fluent as I am now, that I once was a socially deprived, bashful, retiring, shy, and silent child. But I have a good fairy. Because of my scientific background, you are likely to applaud the occasional use of fairy tales as easier to understand than my lapse into scientific explanations. For instance, as you acquire the ability to help heal yourself and others, You will be introduced to such scientific words as psychoneuroimmunology and cyberphysiology as indicators of the power of the mind to heal the body. Doesn't the concept of waving a magic wand sit better? Scientists are now beyond the smallest particles of the atom in their investigation of matter and are penetrating into microscopic realms that are the frontiers of the other side. They are beginning to see intelligence in form of fields of energy filling all of space. As this energy manifests in the form of life, money, and love, as well as lakes, mountains, and prairies, we call this energy creation. Creation is still going on in the universe. We are interested in its ability to do things on Earth. But what we used to believe in the centuries since Newton, we no longer believe since the time of Einstein. There are some exciting developments in the form of new paradigms in the scientific belief system. First, you will see the old Newtonian paradigm and then the new Einsteinian paradigm that has replaced it. Old, the material world is made up of particles of matter separated in space and time. New, the world is made up of interconnected energy fields that include space and time. The old, the mind originates in the brain with intelligence in the nervous system and other parts of the body. The new is that the mind fills the cosmos and beyond. It is part of a universal intelligence. The old, the laws of nature are absolute and cannot be changed. The new, the human mind, can trigger changes in natural law as we are its creators. The old is that we are human beings trying to be spiritual, and the new, we are spiritual beings trying to be human. End of lesson in quantum physics. You are being controlled, but you are in control. As I sit down to write this book, I have no idea how I'm going to approach the subject. As I begin to write, thoughts come to me. I consider them to be my thoughts. Do I have a right to claim them as my own? Some of them surprise me. How can they be mine? If they surprise me, am I receiving help? The answer is yes. Let me explain this to help you scientifically. I relax when I sit down to write. I might even close my eyes to daydream about the next paragraph. Closing one's eyes relaxes the body. Daydreaming relaxes the mind. With a relaxed mind holding imaginative thoughts, brain waves are slowed and the right hemisphere is activated. The right hemisphere connects one's intelligence to the universal intelligence just mentioned in the second new paradigm. It is the creative realm. So the ideas are novel and creative. Is that clear? Or would you prefer me to say, I have a good fairy? Does that mean that the good fairy is controlling me? Yes and no. Yes, I am controlled because the ideas that come to me when I relax and daydream are not of my choosing. They are chosen for me and fed to me. No, I am not controlled because I have sat at my desk, pen in hand, at my choosing. I have chosen to write on this subject at this time. I have closed my own eyes and opened my mind to such ideas purposefully. Similarly, when you contact your good fairy, as you will later, you will be in control of the process from beginning to end. But the delightful results that you will receive will be out of your control. Can this be accurately described as similar to winning a lottery, or getting an unexpected tax refund, or receiving a sizable bequest from a deceased rich uncle, or none of the above? Of course, none of the above. I must have a good fairy is the reply you might prefer, as I do. I am being controlled in writing this book. You are being controlled in reading it. My writing has an overall goal of my choice, but the ideas that flow to me are unique and original to me, obviously from a source. Similarly, you may underline parts while you read or fold down pages that are important to you. Here is where you could be controlled by the same metaphysical force that put into your hands in the first place. I am going to give you an important step to take before you go one paragraph further. Close your eyes. Turn them slightly upward and feel love and gratitude for whatever force caused you to have this book in your hands or to listen to it. Then ask for the benefits. You cannot read with your eyes closed. So put the book down now. You can listen. Close your eyes. Feel love. Express gratitude and ask for benefits. Martin examined the newly unveiled car models. There was one that appealed to him and to his wife, but they had to have it in a certain color, and Martin required an attachment that would enable him to tow his boat. "We'll have to order it, and it may take weeks," said the salesman. "Order it," replied Martin. Martin had already been working with his fairy godmother, doing services for people beyond the call of his investment business, and finding unexpected good things happening to him. Later that week, he received a phone call from the car salesman. "Better come right over." When Martin arrived, there was the exact model of the car he ordered, in the precise color he and his wife preferred. What's more, it had the special boat towing attachment. Fairy godmothers, genies, and other mythical magicians always reserve the right to refuse your request if they deem it unreasonable for one reason or another. Remember the account of the little girl who was overheard by her parents praying before Christmas. She asked Santa Claus for 12 dolls. Of course, they bought her only one doll. On Christmas, when she had opened all her presents and found only one doll, she looked forlorn. "What's the matter, dear?" asked her mother. "Did Santa Claus forget to bring you something you asked for?" "He didn't forget," replied the child. "He just said no." How to ensure a yes from the other side every time. Even though we have not given you the simple procedure to contact your good fairy yet, it is not too early to talk about ensuring a yes for every request you make. Why not build a sizable metaphysical bank balance starting now? Here is how. Start monitoring your thoughts and feelings. Those that are down, dismal, and dark are negative thoughts. They are like a withdrawal from your metaphysical bank balance. Those that are up, joyous, and loving are like deposits into your metaphysical bank account. Since our actions follow our thoughts, you will find yourself living a better life when your thoughts are positive. Each day will be more productive and filled with beneficent and creative acts on your part. Then watch the metaphysical bank balance zoom. All the great teachers down through history have taught their followers how to live a better life. They were all on the secrets of the other side. Buddha taught non-attachment as a means of reducing greed and frustration. Moses taught rules for proper living. Lao Tzu taught how to live in harmony. Christ taught forgiveness. He also advocated going to what he called the kingdom within, which we can only surmise was the meditative state where, when you function within God's righteousness, all else will be added unto you. Our world is far from perfect. Just as animals are combative, not only by reason of their place in the food cycle, but also by dint of the territorial imperative that drives them to protect what they have and to acquire more, humankind is similarly driven. People are driven to have the most attractive mate, the most spacious home, the fanciest car. Business people struggle to expand their markets. Farmers struggle to expand their crop acreage. Politicians struggle to expand the numbers of their supporters. Even the various religions have their own territorial imperatives as they struggle for more and more adherents. In fact, such struggles often have led to war. The founders have not been understood, and certainly not followed. Instead, religions have been built largely around their lives rather than around their teachings. They all taught there is a creative realm that we now call the other side, and they all knew a basic fact about it that is still largely a secret to the rest of us. Here is that basic fact. The other side is really on our side. The other side came first. It is the source of the world. Creation is the ongoing goal and activity of the other side. It is taking place throughout the universe and under our noses as well. This planet is changing daily as a result of creation. Land masses are moving toward and away from each other. Mountains are eroding and producing more flatlands. New islands are arising in the ocean. You and I are helping with this process. We may not be moving mountains, but we are creating cities. We are inventing ways to improve the quality of life. New experiences are heightening our awareness and expanding our consciousness. Interpersonal relationships, once harsh and cold, are becoming more loving and warm. All this is creation too. It is helping to perfect the Creator's handiwork. We are co-creators. We and the Creator are in the same boat. The Creator is on our side. No wonder there are angels to help us, genies to manifest our needs, and fairies to grant our wishes. Recently, several network television shows have featured the work of angels in assisting individuals in the process of saving lives. They often affect photographic film and leave ephemeral proof of their presence. But if you insist on this kind of visible, physical proof, you are missing the best part. You are better off being interested in the invisible part. Think about the security or support you can enjoy by being in touch with the other side. In fact, from what you have learned about the other side so far in this chapter, whom do you pity the most? A person with no visible means of support. B, a person with no invisible means of support. Of course, it's the latter individual who needs help most critically. The door to the invisible world. Is there a visible doorway to the invisible world? To answer that, I ask you to close your eyes and imagine a doorway. Put the book down and do it now. The doorway you just imagined is the doorway to the invisible world. I will soon be telling you how to open that doorway and, through it, contact the other side. It's not a real doorway you might think. I just imagined it. Well, you have been listening to your parents and teachers who have been insisting that it's just your imagination. Therefore, it's garbage. Don't blame them. They were taught that by their parents and teachers, who in turn were taught that by their parents and teachers, back for generations. The imagination is the forerunner of created reality. Better start teaching that to your children. Better yet, start demonstrating that to them. Don't feel guilty that you are having trouble with this imagined doorway concept. If it came easily to everyone, this would be a much better world than it is. The reason is that you would be in touch with where you came from. You would have the guidance of the Creator and a host of helpers on an ongoing basis. As it is, you are in touch by verbal prayer, by knocking on wood, by throwing salt over your shoulders, or by crossing your fingers. These methods do not always work, though they would indeed always work if you imagined them working. Suppose you were a human soul in the invisible world looking for a doorway to the visible world of material human bodies. Your doorway would be an embryo as it emerged from the womb. On the other hand, if you were a good fairy in the invisible world trying to do your job of helping somebody in the physical, visible world who has a need, it would be a lot easier to get there. You would create your own doorway Sorry, I'm not a good fairy, and I am at a loss as to how they do it. But they do it. They do it when you use your doorway to the invisible world by imagining it. And how to open the doorway to the invisible world. What follows the "and" is essential, and desiring help, you believe it is on the way and expect that desire will suffice. Imagining a doorway is a static act. It just stands there, closed. You need to imagine it opening, visualize help coming, and see your needs being met. All that is far from static. It is dynamic. It is action. I will be giving you instruction throughout this book for using your imagination dynamically to get help from guardian angels and good fairies. I call these instructions action plans. Each action plan will not only open the doorway to obtaining help for you, but it will bring that help through the doorway and into your life. Walter needed $3,000 to pay back mortgage payments, or he risked losing his house. With a wife and 3 elementary school children, such a loss was unthinkable. I recommended an action plan to help him. When he read it, Walter agreed that the action plan seemed to fit his financial problem, and he put the instructions down and followed them. In about 2 minutes, he had completed it. He opened his eyes. No genie stood in front of him with $3,000. The room was the same. In fact, for 2 weeks, nothing at all happened. except his time to pay the mortgage arrears was running out. At the end of those 2 weeks, his wife decided to clean the attic. It was piled with old boxes, memorabilia, and endless photo albums left by her parents. As she thumbed through the albums, curious as to who were in the photos, she came across an album not with photos, but with postage stamps. Apparently, one of her parents had been a stamp collector. Neither she nor her husband was interested in acquiring this hobby, so they took the album to a professional philatelist in order to cash in on what the little stamp collection might be worth. They left with $3,500. Was it a miracle that saved their house, or a good fairy? What you can build for yourself using action plans. The action plans provided on these pages are in strategic order. Each one builds on the ones before it. If you skip around, you risk spinning your wheels. You may get nowhere. But by doing them in the order provided, each one takes you a step further on your path to expanding your power as a metaphysician, with magical forces at your beck and call. Many scientists are taking a look at metaphysics today because their research has opened up new understanding of it. Quantum physics shows the never-before accepted existence of action at a distance. Their own consciousness and beliefs affect the outcome of their experiments in ways that belie their strongest conviction, namely that scientists are impartial observers. Time and time again, they see how their own beliefs move the experiments in that direction. I could see this happening a half-century ago. I was at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology at a time when the debate was raging whether light was wave or particle. The standard test was passing light through an orifice. If it was a wave, it would break into smaller waves on the other side. If it was a particle, it would pile up in triangular form on the other side, with the peak directly opposite the orifice. For scientists to imagine the outcome would be waves, light broke up into smaller waves. For scientists who imagined the outcome would be particle, light broke up into the triangular particle pattern. Were the scientists controlling the outcome inadvertently by the creative power of their consciousness? The late healer Olga Worrell was a more recent and dramatic example of how scientists affect the outcome of their experiments with their own minds. She was having her powers tested at what was then the Stanford Research Institute when she stunned her host by affecting a cloud chamber. This measures cosmic rays entering the atmosphere by a shower of sparks. She was able to create a shower of sparks in the chamber on command. "Can you do this at a distance?" asked one of the scientists. "I am going home now," she replied. "Phone me tomorrow evening." Olga lived 700 miles away. They did not mean that great a distance, but they agreed. When they called her, she said, "Say when." "Now, Olga." Whoosh! There was a shower of sparks in the cloud chamber. She repeated this twice on cue. "Olga, we'd like to have a couple of our colleagues view this. Can we phone you the same time tomorrow?" She agreed. The next night, with two skeptical scientists reluctantly standing by, they gave Olga the signal. "Now, Olga." Then again, "Now, Olga." "I'm doing it," she assured them. But nothing was happening inside the cloud chamber. The two skeptics looked at each other as if to say rubbish and left. After they were gone, Olga was able to again affect the cloud chamber. The consciousness of the two skeptics, who did not think it could be done, was just as much a part of the experiment as Olga herself. 2 against 1 for. The nays have it. As you program yourself with action plans, you change your life. Your consciousness becomes pregnant with new benefits, unexpected blessings, and fortunate events. You begin to fulfill your role as a co-creator. Here, in general terms, is what the usual action plan directs you to do. Relax and daydream. Imagine a doorway into the non-physical world. Mentally open the doorway and walk in. State your problem. Ask for a solution. Walk back out, leaving the doorway open. End your daydream expecting the arrival of a solution. Again, this is a general description of what you will be doing. Expect techniques to be added to make the actions more effective and the glorious results more immediate. Expect also that additional steps may be added that are uniquely suited to solving your more complicated problems. In all action plans, you will begin by going through the main steps for relaxation, listed later in this chapter. You will augment these main steps with any of the optional ways to deepen relaxation listed beneath them in italics. Also, in all action plans, you will follow your relaxation with the main steps for controlled daydreaming. Also, you should seriously consider augmenting these main steps with the optional reinforcement steps listed below in italics. These main steps for relaxation, followed by the main steps for controlled daydreaming, will be indicated in the action plans to follow in this book, merely with the instructions 1. Relax, 2. Daydream. You will understand that these one-word instructions each cover the steps delineated below. Daydream to activate mystical powers. Your natural way to relax and your way of easily slipping into a daydreaming state is probably adequate to obtain the results you want, but probably is not definite enough, and adequate is not thorough enough. So here are some techniques right from the start. All of us are prone to daydreaming while waiting for some event. Perhaps you are waiting for the water to boil, or for your guest to arrive, or for your name to be called in a waiting room, or for the 5 o'clock news to be aired. These are okay for random daydreaming, but they are not the daydreaming times or places for your action plan. To contact the invisible help you seek, action plans need to be done especially for that purpose and at a time and place unfettered by other more earthly matters. Choose a time and place where you will not likely be interrupted or intruded on during the 1 to 5 minutes your action plan will require. A good time is when you rise in the morning or about to retire at night. A good place is your bedroom. Any time that is private or any place where privacy is assured is the right time to place to sit comfortably, close your eyes, and begin to daydream. Usually your daydreaming while driving or riding in a bus begins spontaneously. Minutes later you realize you were daydreaming, and often you check whether you made the correct turn or whether you passed your bus stop. You realize that you were turning over in your mind a trip you hope to take, a meeting with another person that you fantasized might take place, or you are being recognized for some special accomplishment you hope to achieve. This is natural daydreaming. It is self-starting and self-directing. It is not the daydreaming that is required in an action plan. The daydreaming you will be doing to activate help from the other side is controlled daydreaming. You do the controlling. You control your daydreams in accordance with the actions in each action plan. If you are wondering why daydreaming can bring you health, money, love, and luck now, when it has never done this for you before, you're beginning to get the message. Control is an element that was missing in your daydreams up until now. Another missing element up until now, purpose. Your daydreaming while waiting for the bus to come is merely to pass the time of day. Your daydreaming while the teacher is at the chalkboard is to prevent boredom. Your daydreaming while relaxing in your living room is to rest your mind. Controlled daydreaming is a whole new ball of wax. It is about to revolutionize your life. Relax for more effective controlled daydreaming. In a way, you will also control your relaxing. One cannot use the expression controlled relaxation because the word control involves a concept that is just the opposite of relaxation. Perhaps it is best to refer to a method of relaxing rather than the control of relaxation. For centuries, there have been techniques to heal the body. These mind therapies most always involve relaxation, either mental or physical or both, as part of their procedures. Some modern mind therapies that involve relaxation are biofeedback, the Alexander technique, hypnosis, autogenic training, the Simonton method, and the Feldenkrais method, to name just a few. The main reason that deep relaxation is a prerequisite for obtaining better mind-body communication is that relaxation slows the brain waves. When the brain waves are slowed, the right hemisphere of the brain, usually loafing on the job, gets active. Read this paragraph twice. The right brain hemisphere is our connection to the creative realm. The creative realm is where all of the creator's staff reside: angels, fairies, elves, genies, magicians. When you relax, your mind is adjusted to a state where it can open the doorway to the invisible world. How then do you relax? I have conducted hundreds of seminars all over the world, but I am not your best authority. A better authority is yourself. Suppose I list the main steps to most methods of relaxation and then add a few optional steps you may want to add. Main steps for relaxation. 1. Sit in a comfortable chair. 2. Close your eyes gently. 3. Take a few nice, deep breaths. 4. Check your body head to toe, relaxing tenseness, and count backwards from 20 to 1. Relax all the muscles, one by one, head to toe. 5. Feel heavier and heavier as you let go. Use affirmations such as, every time I relax this way, I go deeper, faster. 6. Visualize passive scenes that are relaxing. Select a place you have been where it was relaxing for you and imagine you are there. Review the main steps carefully. They comprise your method to relax in order to contact the help available to you, the standard approach to your fairy queen. Controlling your daydreaming. The instructions for relaxation you have just read, plus the following instructions for controlled daydreaming, constitute the open sesame for the doorway to breathtaking help from the invisible world. By following these steps, plus the special additional steps in each action plan, you are opening the combination lock for the doorway to Fairyland City. It is like opening a safe packed with your life's treasures. This is because we now know that controlled daydreaming leads to true reality. In fact, you are creating what you daydream in a controlled way. I will now list the main controlled daydreaming steps to open the door to help from the other side, from the invisible world. Main steps for controlled daydreaming. 1. Mentally review the problem for which you seek. You could picture only briefly the details of the problem. Emphasize a picture of the basic needs, example, money. 2. Mentally affirm your belief in what you are doing and your expectation of results. You could, after a number of sessions, pick one where you were successful all the way and replay that. 3. Imagine a beautiful doorway, gate, or portal. Know it is the gateway that separates the physical world from its source, the creative realm. The more gilded, ornate, and jewel-encrusted, the better. 4. Feel love for the doorway and what lies beyond. The more genuinely you feel love, the more assured the response. 5. Bathe the beautiful doorway in brilliant white light. See the brilliant white light and use an imaginary rheostat to turn it up brighter still. 6. Move toward the doorway, knowing it will now open as you approach it does. If it remains closed, you're feeling unworthy. You need to start over. This time begin by relaxing and forgiving yourself. 7. Inside, imagine a fairyland of church steeples, towers, and mosques. Keep this fairyland scene in the background. The actions spelled out in the plan should now be done. Your first action plan: how to come into extra money. This action plan manifests extra money for you quite speedily. A woman found a $20 bill that same day. A young man got an unexpected tax refund for $150 that same week. A waiter received a $5,000 assignment in 3 weeks. A real estate woman with no sale for months made a $3,000 commission within 3 days. Let me give you the details on the real estate woman. Margaret was moderately successful, but was experiencing a dry spell for nearly a year. A seller's market had turned into a buyer's market, and now an influx of new real estate agents were competing for the thinner market. Margaret was feeling low when she came to me for metaphysical assistance. I knew she would not be able to imagine the door to the creative realm opening, much less feel love and send light. So I had to cheer her up and trigger a more optimistic mental climate before leading her through the action plan I am giving you now. 3 days after doing the action plan, she received a call from a man to whom she had shown a house 10 weeks earlier, but who had decided to buy elsewhere. "I'm back," he said. "If that house is still available, I'll take it at the asking price." The sale meant a much-needed $3,000 commission to Margaret and a financial turn of events in her career. Read these instructions over a couple of times until they become familiar to you. A friend or relative who is of like mind with you may read the step-by-step procedure to you as you do it, but it is better if you proceed alone. Prepare your mental state. Wash away all feelings of financial limitation. Prepare yourself mentally to accept unlimited abundance. Practice relaxing according to the steps provided earlier. Also practice daydreaming. Once you are comfortable with the procedures for relaxing and using your imagination, follow the steps in this action plan if you are in need of some extra money. Action plan for extra money. 1. Relax. 2. Daydream. 3. Mentally open the doorway and walk in. 4. State firmly that you need more money. 5. Ask for help. 6. Place on your lap a dollar bill or higher denomination that you have collected in preparation for this action plan. 7. With your eyes still closed, visualize a ball of light about a foot over your head. Turn up the brilliance of the light. Permit the ball of brilliant light to slowly descend into your head, sinking slowly down your body until it reaches the level of your solar plexus, just above your navel. Now shine a beam of light out your navel and onto the money. See the money become aglow with energy. Turn off the beam. Imagine the money going out and away. Wait a moment. Now see a shower of money returning. See the air filled with countless returning bills. Slowly return the ball of light up your body and out of your head to the point above your head where it started. Dim the light of the ball. Imagine you are walking out the doorway and back to your chair. Leave the door open and open your eyes. 8. Spend the bill or change it within 24 hours. Why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Money is the symbol of abundance. The flow of money into and out of people's lives is probably next to love their greatest concern. This concern yields a strange situation. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. This was recognized even as far back as the writing of the Bible. Can you understand this apparent unfairness now? A poor man daydreams about his lack and pictures a difficult tomorrow. Since daydreams are creative, the poor man's worrisome daydreams are perpetuating his lack. Meanwhile, the rich man is having different daydreams. He's counting his money and imagining all the things he will be doing with his growing wealth. So the rich man is perpetuating and increasing his abundance through creative daydreaming. The energy of consciousness is real energy. It is called psychotronic energy. When you relax and daydream, you focus your psychotronic energy on the subject of your mental images. This is creative energy. So you tend to create what you picture mentally. Start now to eliminate worry, pessimism, and other negativity from your relaxed thoughts. You're getting in your own way. Instead, start making mental friends with the powers that be in the invisible world. Do this in any way that comes to you. They thrive on your expectation and belief, your love and recognition. And when they thrive, you thrive. As Stone says in the preface, fairy tales are real. The reason we do not accept them as real is because they appear to have no identifiable place in the real or material world. But they do have a place in the non-material world. What earthly good is the non-material world? Every earthly good. It is the source of the material world of the earth itself. Humanity has not acquired a language that applies to the non-material world. So the creative realm, free of time, space, or shape, is an indescribable realm due to a lack of vocabulary. All we have to rely on are angels and fairies. Seers and philosophers speak in parables. They rely on magic, myths, and monsters, figments of the imagination. Hold it right there. Angels and fairies are real. Scientists have recently discovered that relaxed imaging activates the right hemisphere of the brain. The brain hemisphere is capable of creativity, of genius-like solutions, of transcending time and space, of manifesting miraculously the figments of the imagination. How the right brain does this is the most remarkable accomplishment, totally unexplainable by any language. But it is the most quite understandable by the language of myths and fairy tales. And this is a fairy tale that opens the door to making all the fairy tales come true. Once again, we have just an amazing chapter by Robert B. Stone. Notice in all of his works is the emphasis of relaxation. It is the key element. When you learn the Silva mind control method, it is also the key. The reason is you have to go into an alpha or theta state if you can. If you can get into that alpha state, one of the techniques he recommends here is just closing your eyes, rotating your eyes upward at a 45-degree angle. When you do that, when they look at the monitors and the biofeedback, they can tell that you go into alpha more regularly. That is a technique. This process of relaxation affects how you think, and this process of controlled daydreaming is a way of understanding and applying the way that you think in a daydreaming manner toward a controlled reality. It's amazing because he integrates scientific understandings with what we believe to be fairy tales, and they're not fairy tales. You can have all of your wishes come true. They've all come true for me, and you can have them come true now and forever. Not just 3 wishes, all of them. You might have to wait for some to come true, but they will all come true if you really feel them and want them, and apply techniques like this so that you move into the other side and invite the powers and energies from the other side in addition to what you're daydreaming. When you put that and add that, that is when everything is possible. That's when you're bringing the substance of reality and adding it to your daydreams. So I recommend that you check out this book. There's some incredible chapters. How to lose your ugly beast disguise. The secret to emerging from the dark labyrinth of need into the bright fortune of good. How to use the eternal life health spa. How to profit from Universal Trade Center. The Supreme Court of Fairyland City. It's a very fun book to read. I had a lot of fun with it, and I highly recommend that you read it when you get a chance. This is just the first chapter, and there's so many other techniques that you can learn from. Also, check out the website, www.robertbstone, for additional books by Robert B. Stone. There's a link that we've provided on this video that you can see for Robert B. Stone, and I recommend all of his books, plus all of the Silva mind control materials. He was ahead of his time. He was very good at explaining in an understandable way how our mind and thoughts create reality. And he did it so well, and it's so easy to understand. We've had so many people on the Facebook group that have applied these techniques with great success, and we will definitely be looking at trying to create a meditation from some of these techniques. I am sending the energy of love and happiness and success to you right now in this moment as you listen to my voice. I'm hoping that you're having a fantastic day. All episodes of The Reality Revolution can be found at therealityrevolution.com. And welcome to The Reality Revolution.